Alright, let's see here. And let's adjust focus. There we go. Now we have focus. And let's just zoom it up a little bit. We can kind of see. Alright, I'm going to work on some of the background here as much as possible. Try to blast through this nonsense. Blast. Ha ha. Alright. Yeah. It's a little bit of a trick to arrange everything. A little bit of a trick. So these are the greens. And then let me grab for the checkers. Alright, and for the checkers I'm just gonna start. God damn it. I already messed it up. See? That's what happens. I think it's... Yeah, it's still fixable. We're just going one row each because I'm not good apparently at skipping. Hmm. Hmm. Hey, what's up? How long have I been doing art? Professionally, since 2004. Personally, since, I don't know, 1984. Yeah, long time. Long time, and you always kind of feel like you're just getting started. Kind of how it works. Hey, what's up, Luke? Do I think it's software somehow? No. No. I mean, it allows me to like do things like rapidly prototype faster, so I could do a color roughy and make, you know, a lot of quick changes. But in terms of software helping me become better as an artist, the answer is no. The only thing that helps you become a better artist is you becoming a better artist. That's time, pressure, constantly improving, basically failing. You gotta be basically failing all the time. And it's allowed me to do the work of multiple people. So, but no, doesn't work that way. It can hide mistakes. I can tell you that much. I see a lot of artists where they use the software to basically hide their inability to do something because they can trace over things pretty quickly at a high level of detail that they probably wouldn't be able to do if it were even traditional art. The light board. So then you end up thinking someone's like, whoa, they're really amazing. And then you get them into a fucking art department and you ask them to produce something that isn't, you know, what they're used to doing, and, you know, the shit all falls apart. I found a lot of artists lose their jobs because they'd get hired because, you know, it would look like they could do one thing, and it turns out they kind of couldn't. You need to have the ability to develop ideas from scratch. If you are incapable of doing that, if you have to have a photo for everything you do, then just really just stick to doing that kind of shit. Draw portraits but no. Developing the ability to create things from scratch is the only way you're going to get around. Because you're not going to get hired to constantly do the things you're good at doing. Some people do. And you can point to someone who goes, this person does. They're the exception. You're going to constantly get hired to do things that, you know, someone else is trying to do, and they need you to come in there and finish it. And it may not be something you're good at doing at all. And you're going to have a skill set, and that's going to require a lot of different things. You know? And then first and foremost is the mental tools to be able to do it. It's that simple. And that's why I find a lot of these YouTube channels completely disingenuous. It is not like because they haven't got jobs and they don't know what it's like. That's not it at all. It's that they basically teach you to do one thing over and over again. Because let me tell you something. The internet does a really good job of rewarding people who do the same thing well over and over again. Until they get tired of you. Then you go, I've seen it. You know, but if you're an artist who does multiple different things, it's hard for people to latch on to that because they kind of want to follow the one thing they like. So I got a group of people who follow me when I do watercolor, and then they disappear when I go and do color pencil. And then those people can't stand when I do the watercolor. And then when I do the digital, I get a whole it's but as an artist, I grow better because I'm never, what's the word? I'm rotating in and out, you know? Rotating in and out of digital, out of traditional, rotating in and out, different styles, clean, dirty, scribbly, precise. So for me, it's like an MMA. I don't want to say it's like an MMA fighter because those guys really fucking work for a living. But it's similar in that you have to have a lot of different disciplines constantly, you know, working for you in tandem. You know, that you can lean on one or the other depending upon the situation. That's the general idea of it. Sort of, you know. But the fight is with yourself. It's not with anyone else. And that's where I don't enjoy art competition. Let's throw down, see who's the best artist. Like, I don't do that. I'm in competition with myself. Period. I'm the only person that holds me back from getting a gig. You know, if I'm not capable of doing something, it's not because someone was better. It's because I was incapable of meeting the brief. You know? And every now and then the art department, some artists will go, let's have an art off. And I'm like, motherfucker, an art off, you know? Here's the art off. When you're done doing 12 hours at the studio, go home and draw. Show me what you do after 12 hours of being here, being told how to fuck up all the time, you know? Show me how motivated you are when you get home to do your own thing. That's the real test of, you know, capability. What can you do after everything is fucking done? And you've paid all your bills and can you still go and do it? Are you up for some more? And can you continue to do it for years? You know? And by the way, you're not going to get any kind of fucking respect or credit for it. Even if you're successful, people are just going to want you to make more stuff. It never ends. So in this way, it's more like a chef, right? Like, oh, hey, great, you made it to the service, but the service is forever. That's the fucking thing, man. You know? It's, this is every day. Every day until there are no more days. That's how it works. So you sort of become obsessed with it. And if you keep trying to find, I'm not saying you personally, it's just the figurative you. If you keep trying to find some kind of weird shortcut around that, you know, like there's a difference between efficiency and knowing when to not do a tremendous level of detail versus when, like, you know, smart, versus if I could just find a way for something to do the work for me, then I wouldn't have to do any work. You know? So even if robots eventually take over all the art jobs, you know, I think watching the artist struggle is just as compelling as the final art. That's why we do this here. That's why I do this here. Like, hey, watch him, Rob, kind of struggle through shit every day. You're not going to want to watch a robot struggle. You're not going to care. It's going to be efficient. So, but the competition's always with yourself. I get it, you know, we all want to make art quicker, you know, but I sort of feel like there's an acceptable level of, like, you're only going to produce so much of anything in your career. So make it the kind of shit, you know, if you can, make whatever you do personally be the shit you want to do, not what you think is going to be popular on the internet. And then whatever you got to do for a living, don't worry if people are that interested in it or not. Nobody would be interested in any of the t-shirts that I've ever done. Guaranteed. They're just not that interesting. You know, but it's paid a lot of bills around here, so. But then, you know, you meet those artists like, but I just want the one thing. Why can't I be successful at this? And well, that's just how the universe works, man. No one cares about this shit. Then they usually quit and find something else to do. I do this for a living. This is a commission, but, you know, pays the bills nonetheless. I've been a full-time artist since 2004. I've worked in art studios. I work at home primarily now, just because the way the whole economy kind of moved away from people spending office space. Yeah. Run through buildings. I don't want to spend a ton of detail on this background because it's not about the individual pieces, it's about the whole thing. So I gotta be careful how much time I spend on that. look at it. See, with things like traditional color pencils and stuff, I can't get one publisher to pay me for that because it doesn't look professional enough. Looks, like a drawing, a color pencil drawing. They like all their stuff to look professional, whatever that means. So I use the commissions to pay me to keep these skills up, basically. Uh, well, I think sometimes, Armando, it's also it's hard. It's hard with typing, you know. Like a lot of people, like I think I said this before too. I think sometimes it can come off a certain way, but I always imagine what's that going to sound like if I was sitting here with some friends, you know, and you know, I think the thing to do probably, especially when you're younger, is just learn to formulate some of your stuff into shorter questions, and you know, let people get a chance to know you before you probably interact with them a little more, you know. But I wouldn't stress it. I don't think you've said anything that's, you know, you haven't gone out. You know, you've been a pretty strong supporter, and sometimes you have a goofy way of asking a legitimate question, and so if I feel like, you know, it's come off a certain way, I'll be like, hey, you know, probably not the best way to go about that, you know. So don't blame yourself too much. I'll tell Brandon sometimes. He's like, hey man, that guy just said something, and I'm like, Brandon, all you wanted to do was be famous on the internet, and now that people kind of know you, you don't like because what, they talk to you. What you just want to be famous and no one I don't know. What do you want, bro? You know, pick and choose your fucking battles. I mean, some people only hear me talking to Brandon and think I'm just the meanest guy in the world. You know, he's a real dick friend. Some of his friends will go, Rob's like a jerk to you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the jerk. These guys were all telling him his art was brilliant, you know, but I'm the one who's the fucking jerk. Okay, you know, we know how that's gonna go. The way I used to, I had a real awkward way of talking when I was younger, especially my freshman and sophomore year, and it took me a little while to work this out. Somewhere between those two, I started, when I had a question or a way I wanted to talk to people, I would just practice it out loud before I said it. Yeah, I mean, I've had to put, like, I'm pretty good, but, you know, most artists are introverts, you know, which is why it would drive me nuts when you'd get some of these salespeople who'd go, man, the artists, they just sit in their own world, man. They're not really sociable. I'm like, because they're fucking artists. That's how they got so good at being art. They sat in the room making art. Well, you were out there fucking going to the homecoming party, you know? And going to the football games with your friends. They were in their room fucking drawing. Jerkwad. Like, no shit. I'm sorry, you know, all the artists are in their own little world. Like, it's crazy. I always look at people's intent. Like, where do I feel if they're coming from a place of being a wise ass, like, oh, I'm going to be the fucking smartest person here and act like a fucking dick, I can tell people's intent pretty quickly, you know. So, if I feel like someone, and I've had some people in the past, man, who've showed up to be, you know, all they're doing is plugging links to their own channels, and they want to fucking make jokes. You know, they want to be like, oh, now I can just make fun of Brandon all day. You know, it's like stuff like that. It's like, you provided anything? What do you had? So I've had that, you know. It's rare around here, partly because my viewership is so small. Also, I think partly because I don't do it. I really do sort of subscribe to the Mr. Miyagi form, you know, like the students only, you know, they learn from the teacher. So it's like, if I start doing that kind of shit, then all of you people out there will feel like, hey, I can do it too. And it'll attract those kinds of people. If we're just sitting all around here making really complicated art, having discussions about art life and shit, that's going to eliminate most of the riffraff because they're not in it for that. They're in it for, you know, talking nonsense or And I get it, it can get a little boring because I keep answering the questions with the same answers, but I just don't think there's... Once you get through the hurdle of basic art process, there's not a lot more to learn other than specific to a project you're trying to accomplish. Unfortunately, most people don't realize how difficult getting from where they're at to where they want to be is. They just sort of feel... That's why I see those posts sometimes and it's like, here's my art in 2009, here's my art now. And I'm like, hasn't changed much, man. It looks cleaner, It's like, yeah, to you. To me, it looks like the exact same piece of art. What have you been doing in 8 years? Hey, what's up, Cuphead? I don't ever chime in because they're not specifically asking for my. Yeah, I've already drawn them. So we have a Knuckles. And I drew a Tails too. I don't feel like getting them down. But you can see all the progress on the Instagram page. Yeah, well, I'll be honest, man. I don't get into it here because for me, drawing is a way to escape the fucking world. You know? So it's like I just don't really care about other people's opinions when it comes to certain things. I really don't. I'm a one-sided guy, man. I form my own opinions. I don't feel like talking about them. That's why I'm not a DeFranco. I'm not gonna have that fucking channel where let's talk about the fucking. I don't even like talking about movies with people. And you want to know? Here's the fucking thing. I never have. Like we had discussions on movies because Brandon would want to talk about Ant-Man or he want to talk about Batman versus Superman. You know, and so I played along with it for about a year, and I'm like, guys, I just don't care what other people. I don't want to start a discussion. You know, I'm just not interested. And part of it's because when I was a kid, nobody liked any of the shit I liked. So it's like, I can't go around my school converting people into liking Ninja Turtle comics. This is before the first movie came out. Like, they like the Chicago Bulls. You know? And quite frankly, if I met someone who happened to like the stuff that I like, then hey, there you go. you know who's in, right? But then there's a whole subset of YouTube problems where it's like, this became offensive, and then now you lose your whole fucking YouTube channel. I don't need that fucking nonsense, you know? And it's hard enough to make art. You can't have fucking passionate discussions about global politics while you're fucking trying to color a Sonic, man. You know? I can barely have these, I mean, just having these conversations, like just talking to you guys and working, I don't know if you've noticed, not a lot of pros sitting around doing that. So, like, it takes a certain kind of something or other to make that work, you know? My advice is if you really want to have that discussion, make a YouTube channel and have the discussion on your channel. And then have fun. No, I don't care. I lived through the fucking prequels, man. You know, people can hate and dislike movies all they like, and then 20 years later they go, you know, it was actually pretty good. It's underrated. Here's the secrets to the prequels you never got, you know? That kind of bullshit. So it's like, good luck. If you don't like something, don't spend your money on it. It's the only thing companies listen to anyway. They don't watch YouTube videos. I wouldn't. There was a bunch of YouTube videos about how my fucking Sonic art sucked. I wouldn't watch a single one of them. You know? Well, you know, how are you supposed to get better if you... how are you supposed to listen to? Go make something sometime. Get some critique and then tell me who are you supposed to listen to? Well, the overwhelming version of what? When there's 2 billion people, there's no overwhelming version of anything. You know? You gotta sit back and say, what was it I was attempting to accomplish? And did I accomplish that? Maybe the guy perfectly... I think George Lucas accomplished exactly what he was trying to do with the Phantom Menace. Just people didn't respond to it very well. You know? They're like, well, that really didn't feel a fucking thing like Star Wars. Well, Star Wars has changed. Well, then there you go. Star Wars has changed. So, I'm going to go find something else to watch now. It's okay. Don't worry, we'll have these discussions now, then people will kind of get it, and then 20 years from now they'll forget, and we'll be right back through this fucking deal, you know? It's cyclical. I blame a lot of my generation for this. Because they didn't really fucking get this geek shit. See, a lot of my generation's a bunch of fakers. They act like they like geek stuff, but they don't. It's just popular to like it now, and they have kids who like it, so they think they're into it. And I can't begin to tell you how many people I went to high school with that I still follow on Facebook that are like, I'm at Comic-Con. Some of them, I might add, some girls especially, who dump me for liking comics. Or friends who used to say that, you know, you're a hermit, man, stop hanging out with me because all I did was draw or talk about drawing, or, you know, I wasn't sociable enough. You know? You know, Cuphead, I don't get a ton of hate, but I do, you know, then again, once you make a high profile enough project like the Game Informer cover, you're going to get some hate. I got a lot of love, but I got a lot of fucking people that were like, you know, they got opinions. But I don't care about their opinions because I had a specific set of goals and a plan, And I had a time frame, and the publisher let me do exactly what I wanted to do. And so I stand by what I did. And I found that what I generally get though is I get exclusion from projects. For whatever reason, my art doesn't. I'm not quite kiddie enough, and I'm not quite adult enough with my art. So basically, I get left out of a lot of projects from publishers that I know. Because I don't too aggressive. Like they would consider this too aggressive for their Sonic books at IDW. It's too. He's got too many. He's got some muscles, and he's still got too much attitude. He looks evil in the eyes. Can you make his eyes? So it's like I got to go down 2 steps to like a real kiddie level, or up 2 steps to like like that Hanna-Barbera gritty stuff that they're doing at DC, where they're all like super realistic. I'm somewhere in between. You know. But I've learned to accept it because you only live once. And I spent the majority of my career changing my art styles for publishers. So basically, they got to pay me a real good salary or a real good rate for me to change my art style. Like on Spyro. They pay well, so I adjust my art to fit the project. And like when I did the Transformers covers last summer, got a lot of complaints from fans that my stuff looks like toys. For the toy property. So I think my stuff sold the least. Honestly. I think my stuff sold the least. Based on some feedback I've gotten from retailers. So that's why they stopped returning my emails. It'll go a couple years and then they'll give me another shot and then, I'll sell the least again. That's how it'll work. Man, what they really just want to do is sell fucking books. And so the market is primarily made up of older guys that straight up only like realism. Or a younger market which likes really cartoony looking things that are all pretty much on model. They like buying the same thing over and over again. When you go for a mass audience, I was never a mass audience guy. Like, I wasn't the kind of fan that was like, man, can't wait for Marvel and DC books. So, and it frustrates, I think, my publishers because they're like, if you just played the game, man, you could be way more, you could be doing so much better. And I'm like, this isn't a game. Like, I'm just making my art, man. It's not a fucking game. Play the game. It's too many hours of my life. So what I got to do here, and what I've been doing for the past several years, is just building up my own little fucking sphere, my own little fan club, right? Where we can go and make the kinds of things we like to make, at the level of detail we choose to make it at, you know. And I just stopped caring. Stop caring whether, you know, publishers want to buy my work or not. You know, the next phase of this is the books, the storylines. But I had to put together a grip of little bits of talent, little bits of coloring, drawing, sketching, to find the right level of detail to make all that happen. Yeah, they do. I just don't respond to them. You know? Just like I wouldn't expect a chef to respond to me if I walked up to a restaurant and go, "Can I get free samples?" These days I get a lot of people asking me to make banners for their YouTube channel, you know. It's paid. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Do my family and friends support me? Okay, well, you're young, so let me give you the deal, man. All right. My family and friends have always supported me. However, my family and friends have always not supported me as well. Let me give you some examples when I was 13. And then we'll jump to 23 and then 33. And then I turned 40 this year. So when I was 13, it was so great. Oh, you have a really oh, you like to draw. Can you draw me? No, I'm not really drawing you. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I just like to draw like comics and stuff. And it's like, oh, you know, that's so great. Okay. You know, that's one thing. Jump to when you're 23. Oh, you still draw? You make any money with that? You do that for a living? Well, not yet. You know, like I'm working. Oh, you're working. Oh, tattoo. You draw tattoos? I don't really draw tattoos. You know. Oh, well, I have a friend, man. He's like, he really can draw. He draws tattoos. He's super famous. Makes lots of money. They love to tell you about how everyone. So there's, 33. Hey, you want to go out and hang out and, you know what I mean? Go on a date, whatever. No, I can't. You know, I'm working. Oh, doing what? Drawing. Oh, yeah, you still do that? Yeah, I still do that, you know. Post every day. I'm everywhere on the internet. Post all my stuff all the time. But I do it for a living now, so I got to work all the weekends and holidays, you know. Oh, all right. Yeah, it never changes, you know. And then now it's, we're so proud of you. Look at what you can do. Oh, it's amazing. Oh, we're so, you know. So they're being as supportive as they know how, but I just lie to people when I tell them what I do for a living. You know, what do you do for a living? Nothing. Nothing. Nope. Just sit at home. My wife earns a living. I make dinner. That's it. And gets people to leave me alone. Now I got to hear how, you know, well, what do you, if someone finds out I draw, I got to hear how great their kid is at it too, you know. Oh, my daughter, she's so good. Hey, maybe you could come over and give her some advice on what to do with her art, you know? Like, man, she's probably going to be embarrassed if anyone talks to her about her art. Like, and the ones who aren't already know what they want to do with their art. Just stay out of your kid's fucking life. Go let them make what they want to make. It's hard out there for people who work in the fields picking fruit. You know, being an artist is just it's annoying. It's a constant annoyance. Like when you got that one fly in the fucking room. He's got the whole fucking room. You could be chilling, but he's got to fuck with the one thing that can murder it in a second. Good job, fly. Yeah, yeah. Or I'm the one who comes up with the ideas. You could draw my ideas. You know? That's my favorite. As if I have no fucking original ideas of my own, but you got me. I was hoping you have a great fucking story, go write a book. You don't need art. Paint the pictures in people's heads, man. Put it on Kindle. Go sell it. And by the way, I don't just tell this to normal people on the internet. I tell this to professional writers. I'll give you one for example. Kevin Grievous. Friend of mine. Nice guy. Seriously nice dude. However, I've told him, I was like, Kevin, if I want to get the reviews how the script sucked but the art was fun, I can do that on my own. Unless there's a substantial amount of money involved, I don't see the point in me killing myself to visualize all your ideas. Find me a decent rate. And when a decent rate, it's like, hey, let's put together a production company and pay me a salary and I'll draw all the fucking comics you want. But I'm not going to sit here and fucking kill myself on weekends for your independent self-published book that I have to spend all my time promoting. It's some are red, some are white. I just went with the red because this cloud is all this background is going to be white, and it would blend in. It would tie right into the cloud, and you wouldn't see a shoe. But if you want to have color in your shadows, you have to put a base of color down and then put your darks over that so you get some of the color into the shadow. So that's a trick too. I only learned that by doing watercolors. No. No, I have not. I gotta do that card too. Don't know. Hey, it's fine. Thanks. Thanks for hanging out. I'd work on the Thundercats cartoon. I love an underdog. Looks like they're having a lot of fun. I know, not the answer you'd expect, but probably a lot of fun. Damn it. Pressed a little too hard that time. Do not spend credit cards on commissions. Go grow up, be an adult. 5, 10 years from now, come back, buy something when you got some disposable income. Or trick your parents into buying a book. Whenever I have those available. Look how long this is taking, Armando. Is it ever enough? I should probably charge $2,000 for what the amount of time I'm spending on this. But that's never going to happen, so, you know. You're not just charging for the ability, the time to do it. You're charging for all the fucking time you've put in to learning how to do it. It's a craft. It's a sketch craft. So funny, man, watching kids get into nonsense. You know, when I was a kid, it was these chain letters. You know, they'd sneak letters in your fucking envelopes and be like, if you don't pass this on to hey friends, you will die. Now you know, I'd read up on those creepy pastas, and it was like, my Nintendo 64 was haunted. Like, guys, I was there when the Nintendo 64 was announced at the 1995 show Shanghai. I fucking guarantee you, the only thing it's haunted by is its lack of a fucking CD-ROM drive and a decent and an actual soundboard. But you kids love to, they got nothing better to do, right? Remember Candyman was the thing when I was in high school? Candyman. Say Candyman in the fucking wall 5 times. Candyman's gonna come to kill you. No, he's not. It's never gonna fucking happen. You know? But I get it. You got nothing to do, and you're looking around your room. What do you got lying around? Oh, I got an old Nintendo 64 that my dad had, so let me just go make up some bullshit about that, you know? I love some of the games, man. I really do. It gave me a completely. I love 1080. I love the Kazooie games. I love Diddy Kong Racing. But they should have put the fucking CD-ROM drive in there. You would have got a complete and a damn sound card. It was the first system I ever bought with my own money, so I have a very special place for it in my heart, you know. Not with my dad's money. I went and fucking had a job. I lived in a trailer. I worked at Wendy's. I walked almost 2 miles to work every day and scrubbed that fucking drive-thru in the toilets so I can get my Nintendo 64 the day it came out. It came out 2 days early, right? So I think it was September 27th. It was due on the 29th. I think I got it on the 27th, 1996. You know? I didn't like Mario Kart 64. I know, blasphemy, right? I didn't like it. Diddy Kong was a far better game. Came out much later, obviously, but at the time I just was like, eh. I didn't like the blurry, pre-rendered characters. I wanted 3D Mario characters. That was the whole point of having a 3D system. They were all supposed to be in 3D. Like, if I wanted the system to do 2D graphics, they should have put a CD-ROM or a cart, CD-ROM on this fucking thing. It's ridiculous. I guess. They never work 100% right, though. You know, when you really know the games, you're like, kind of didn't play like this at all, but I guess good enough. Then you watch kids using keyboards to control 3D analog, 3D characters that 3D fucking controls. Three-dimensional analog controls. These guys are using up, down, left, right arrows. I'm like, you're just missing. The joy of most of those games was the way the play control was so intuitive. Like, it was you know what it was? It was immersion. We went down in quality of graphics, down in quality of sound with those 3D games, but what you had was better immersion. You felt in the same way that you get when VR kind of works now. You're like, this is amazing. Same deal. I don't care about Fortnite. It's not my generation. I knew it'd be a success. I saw it coming, but I don't like a world where everyone's running around with nonsense. I like coherent design. It's like I like Ready Player One. Thought the movie was fun, but I don't want a VR world where everyone can just put on whatever costume they want and they run around looking like a fucking. I need consistency. I need consistency in design. Order. Nah, I disagree with that completely. It's way better to spend $300 on a console and play whatever you want versus the $1,000 you need. I mean, it's $300 for a decent video card. And I do all my work on a PC. I'm not fucking gaming on mine too. I gave it up years ago. I spent all my time modding Oblivion and I never played it. And so I'm like, you know what? Minecraft was the last game I played on my PC. That's it. Everything else from here on out. Unless it's an indie game where I have no fucking choice. You know, but... It's not a debacle, you know. Who cares if you can't play with your friends? In a few years, all your friends are going to get, you know, they're going to give up and be bored and play something else anyway. Friends are probably just making your games worse. I'm a nihilist when it comes to multiplayer. Like, I'm playing Steep, and I don't fucking want one person to team up with. You know, I don't see any reason for me to have to connect to a server to log on to that game. I want a world by myself. I'm trying to get away from people when I play games. Yeah, it's a debacle. I just think it isn't. I think it's bullshit. Who cares? You know? Seriously. The grand scheme of things, I don't care if people can't play with their friends on Minecraft. It's another useless fucking thing people bring up. You want to make a bigger argument? The bigger argument is how come they don't have mouse and keyboard support on these consoles for people who would like to use it? Especially for first-person shooters, right? But I got to hear about crossplay. For me, don't care. The loot box problem is a bigger issue. Like on Steep, so they don't really do loot boxes, but what they do is they make it so every fucking item you want to buy in-game costs so much fucking in-game currency that you're probably going to want to buy some in-game currency to speed it along. And it's some of those things they buy are tied to you actually being able to go down certain... You can't even progress. And I think for a $60 fucking game, that's ridiculous. So, which is why I waited until I get it for $15, and I will not spend a single fucking dime on their stupid loot boxes or their currency, whatever you call it. It's not loot boxes. With them, it's that in-game currency, right? The same fucking concept. Yeah, they have. In order to compete in certain races, you have to have a certain snowboard that's in game. In order to get the snowboard, it costs 40,000 credits. You earn an average of 300 to 500, maybe 1,000 credits on a race. So I got to do 40 races at a minimum before I can buy that fucking board. See how that works? Bullshit. That's what that is. Now, personally, I don't care. So, but I enjoy the open mountain, and I enjoy, the snowboarding's okay. It's not the greatest play control, but once you kind of work it out, it works. But Minecraft I can play by myself, right? I don't need anybody, so there you go. I don't like multiplayer. But I understand I'm in the minority. Minecraft is dead. It's not dead. It's making $1 billion a year. It's just not the talk of the town. The new trend. The new trend. For now, kid. I've seen these come and go. Unreal Tournament 2004, motherfuckers. Remember how big that was? Ooh, shit, dog. Remember Second Life? Remember how important that was? Remember when the big trend was molten core runs on WoW? Like, this is how it goes, folks. It's fun for me because I don't care. It's not my games. It's not my games. Not the games I play. There'll be some giant... You wait, there'll be some giant Fortnite debacle one day. How fun that will be. Always happens. Always happens. GTA Online was pretty big for a while. Payday was the fucking jam for a long while. Counter-Strike for God knows how many years. Oh, they'll just screw something up. I don't know, but it'll happen. Always happens. They'll come to find out maybe kids are being targeted and spending a ton of money on Fortnite. Kids will be bullied for not playing video games at school. You wait for that one. It's probably already happening, but, not nationally, right? Wait till some kid gets beat up for not playing Fortnite. You wait. I just don't have enough stuff in my game to keep up with the rest of the school, and I can't. I'm being shunned because, that kind of shit. But it'll be for, like, video games. At least Minecraft taught people to build shit. I mean, you're kind of building things in Fortnite, but not really. Not really. It's more like a game when I was a kid called Rampart. Rampart was an arcade game where each of you got a castle, and you'd spend half your round building it up with pieces, and then you put cannons and you blow the shit out of the other person's castle, and whoever had the most points won and could build up a better castle. QA on games is not fun. You're not playing games. You're basically trying to break the game and then write down how you broke it over and over again. And it doesn't pay much. And these days, they're not even paying anything for it. Some studios are going to, like Microsoft dissolved a lot of their QA. And they're just having people go right to alpha, and then they just basically beta test it through the community. But I had a friend that used to work at Midway Games, and he was in the QA department, and he would have to play all these real shitty Game Boy Color games that were horrible, horrible ports. He's like, I hate life. I want to die. Playtesting games is not creative, man. Nothing creative about playtesting games. You're trying to find how they break so they can fix it. So you got to sit there and do something 7 million times just to get it to break. So you can write down the bug and then hand it off to a developer as to go in there and figure out what happened. That's playtesting. People think doing anything anything is easy. Nothing's easy. I mean, except, look, checking out groceries drives people nuts. But anytime you got to make things to entertain people, there's nothing easy about it. Oh, I got to entertain people? Which people? Who people? As many people as possible. Good luck. You know? That's why I like these places where they get people to paint. You can go in there and paint a jug or do something creative. The more people learn what it takes to make something, the more they tend to appreciate it. So, there should be a thing at the mall where you can go and make a YouTube show. Figure out how much fucking effort goes into just writing a script and saying shit on there and then editing and getting made up. And if I would made the movie, I would do this if you made the movie. Think one person's making the movie? Do 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 do. I always suspect new stuff to pop out. I don't know. I don't know, man. Doesn't quite work that way. Wish it did. Wish I could just pop out the next fucking thing. Generally what happens is it just someone out in the world has the idea and then I tend to fucking pick it up on the ether. You know? Whatever you want to call it. I mean, I was right about I said for years, you know, they got to tie those fucking comic book things to a subscription service. And that'll actually pay for all the comics. So it's good to see DC do it. I don't know. To be honest, the more I spend writing my own stuff, the less time I have to think about shit like that. So I've been spending a lot of time working on my own thing, so I don't devote a lot of time to it. Tell you what I don't say. I don't see a world without game consoles anytime soon. The more people try to make everything, like this whole, like, we're going to have a streaming only ecosphere with gaming, I just don't buy it. I think there'll be, some people will have it, like Google may have, I mean, that's the word now, that Google's making a game machine that'll do that. Some people will try it, but I don't see it. People will always default to easier is best, and getting things to stream right on the internet's still a fucking chore. Even with Netflix, shit buffers. People don't want their games buffering. I'm telling you, you're just gonna hear the million gamer march when their fucking consoles don't buffer right. You know. Well, my personal projects are the last thing on my list until I get everything caught up. And then at some point in the next year, it'll flip. And then my personal projects will be first and everything else will be second. And then 2 to 3 years after that, people will wonder, are you ever going to do more like professional work? You know, you always do your own stuff. It'll happen. Just hang around long enough, you'll see it. I'm most interested in augmented reality at this point. I personally prefer VR, but being able to walk around with a augmented reality buddy that can hang out with you all day while you're at the fucking store and walk up and be like, hey, remember you needed eggs? Oh shit, man, I needed eggs. Thanks, dude. You know, shit like that. I need a personal assistant. Not a voice, like someone I can actually look at. Really help the elderly too, you know, they'll never be alone. People look like an idiot now carrying around. You think people, look at people. Everyone looks like an idiot. They're all around. People are talking into their phones. People are got their headsets on. Some people are just talking to their kids looking like a dumbass, you know? Trying to have a discussion with a 6-year-old. Jeffrey, put that down. Jeffrey, don't do this. Jeffrey, you know, like they look everyone looks dumb, man. Like, none of us look as cool as we think we do. You know how stupid I'm gonna look when I come home and I forgot the fucking eggs? Right? That's what I want to avoid. I didn't forget the eggs because my AR buddy reminded me at Walmart to pick up the fucking eggs. you could just write a list down. I could, and I could forget that list like I do every fucking time I go to the store. Because I'm stupid. Don't even have to be a human that I'm looking at. It could be like a little floaty buddy. It could be a little Pokemon running around helping me out. As a matter of fact, they don't even have to talk to you. They could just run up and pull stuff off the point to the shelf. Like, oh, that's right. Plus, imagine if you could be in your home and you could tell your AR buddy, you know, like, hey, I want to do this, this, and that. And then the AR buddy gets in the morning and you see your AR buddy walk over and turn on the microwave. But the microwave's actually connected to the network. It just turns on. But you get to see your AR buddy walk over there and turn it on. So you feel like you're never alone. You got someone there with you. Huh? How clever is that? Then they let you know your dinner's done, it's in the microwave. Oh, thank you. You know? My AR buddy and me. My buddy. Wherever I go, they're gonna go. Alright, this is a law of diminishing returns at this point. So here we go. Yeah, well, the trick with these backgrounds, especially with color pencils, are to not, like, try to do too much to it. You know? Let them be a little looser. So. Yeah, I'm making these into a print set. And to be honest, I mostly don't offer any backgrounds, but the guy threw down some cash, I won't lie. So. Yeah, they're going to be a print set. I just haven't figured out how I'm going to do it yet to keep the cost down. I might have to take pre-orders and get some stuff in because my print-on-demand solution would be a little expensive. So I have to figure it out. I have to do the math. This is it for today, yeah. I gotta get to work. So tomorrow, I'll just start finishing up this tree in this background. I gotta color that tree up. But it's a lot of the same colors. It's these colors just repeated in the water. So should be able to get the background mostly done tomorrow, I think. So I forgot yesterday was 4th of July, so I had to go to a demolition derby with my wife. So I thought I could just sit in here and do this and get it all knocked out, but no. So I'll start this, definitely be done by tomorrow or the day after, and then I can move on to, what do you call it? Knuckles. Knuckles is going to be a lot of red. It's going to be a lot of red coloring. So, fun. Demolition derby. Yeah, I know, right? Alright, everybody. I will be back on later. Talk to you. Peace. If you'd like to support the show and you don't have no money, just like and comment below, and it'll make Rob happy. Also, if you can buy stuff, go buy it at shopsketchcraft.com. This is where Rob puts stuff.
Rob puts stuff at shopsketchcraft.com that he sells. He doesn't have it in a loft. He doesn't have it. He has like a couple things, just a few things. Sometimes he puts stuff up. Sometimes he has nothing at all. But there are some stuff there. That's where it's at. Shopsketchcraft.com. All right.